Since the Industrial Revolution, thousands have moved to Puerto Gato, hoping to turn a fertile hotspot into their own economic benefit. When families like the Thicketts, the Bofermens, and the Ramleys tilled the ground for the first time, they laid the groundwork for the bustling agricultural and industrial hub it is today. Now, 4 generations later, and with a legacy to protect, Hannah Chungman worries about how the family business will continue to operate. With her grandfather's recent passing, the city has sent her office a flurry of offers for the land her family has owned for decades. And with Jack Boferman as mayor, it was only a matter of time before pressure turned to force. She had already seen what eminent domain looked like when the city claimed their land for the light rail project on 6th Street. Still, Hannah understood the truth. The city would need the land eventually. The city has grown rapid recently, and Hannah was conflicted about whether the farm was actually worth it. Massive mining operations, freight corridors, heck, she even saw something called a Sprek Agricultural Electrification grant in her newspaper. And she continued to read. San Pico Renewable Cooperative will provide matching grants for agro-industrial partners seeking geothermal integration. And then it clicked for her. Why was the city the only thing that could progress and expand? Why couldn't Chungman Produce Co. evolve too? Not just to survive, but to lead. Hannah saw the Sprek grant as the way forward. With the recent construction of a water extraction and geothermal plant in the Northwest, many farmers had already begun receiving city energy contracts, complete with subsidies if they integrated it into their own irrigation infrastructure. As Hannah applied for the grant, she felt a combination of both hope and hesitation. How would her grandfather feel about her giving up the land? Was she selling out or planning the next season of her family's future? A month later, the approval letter arrived in the mail. The grant will cover over half the cost of transitioning to new geothermal power irrigation, well above what Hannah needed. She invested the money into a distribution center of her own, which is a large-scale vegetable operation. She could almost hear her grandfather's voice surveying the land, skeptical maybe, but proud. Change had come, not by force, but by choice. This wasn't the end of the farm, it was the beginning of its next chapter. So, in this episode, we will develop our agribusiness district. We'll plan a new geothermal and water pumping station to irrigate our massive farms. Before all that, we will establish a series of streams and reservoirs, just like in my own home state of Indiana. But first, what do you think? Was Hannah right to take the deal and modernize the farm? Or should she have fought to keep the land just the way it is? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you're subscribed so you can see how all this unfolds. Let's dive straight in. Hello guys, and welcome back to Puerto Gato. So we are coming back here right after the new 1.2.5 update. I think that's what it is at least. So our economy is a little bugged right now. So today we're gonna kind of try and rebalance that with some industry. And I thought to include some agribusinesses in this episode to kind of, as a natural progression of these companies here. So we're gonna kind of utilize this area because if we look here, we have a ton of fertile land. If I can find the info, they changed the info views, so can't really figure anything out. So okay, finally found it. So so you can see we had lots of fertile land right here. So we're gonna use that today. But if we also look at our water usage, we have a little bit of a reservoir here, and I kind of want to play to that in terms of our planning of this stream system we're going to plan out today. So the reason why I'm going to kind of plan that out is because a lot of streams also get a lot of their water supply from underground sources. So if we look at our topography here, we got quite a bit of a hill here, and you would see naturally a lot of water collect around the bottom of this, right where it's lower. So, and that would naturally carve out the landscape underneath here. So we're gonna kind of play to that and flatten out all of that to about 504, I think. So let's go ahead and grab that height, and we'll just kind of follow that this terrain line here and kind of act as if this is the natural path the stream will kind of formulate on. All right, now that we got that, let's go ahead and turn back on our infill views and look at where that water deposit is. So it's here, so I don't want it to be there that much. I think what I'm going to do is say that there's gonna be some reservoirs, maybe one here, Maybe we'll do one here as well. Go ahead and look at our info views again, and we'll look at where that groundwater deposit is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say that there's a huge like reservoir right where this is, right above ground. So we're just going to kind of flatten this out right where that is, and I'm just gonna have to switch back and forth because we don't really have. Oh, I guess we can kind of look from this way. So yeah, I guess I'll just kind of follow where this is at naturally. All right, and we got that first one there. It looks a little rough. You can't really tell. That's what. Yeah, we'll leave this on for the time being. But let's go ahead and create a couple more of those. Maybe one of these right here. As you can see, there's a little bit of a sloping thing going on here. So I think a lot of water would collect right about here as well. This would kind of be as a natural retention pond. All right, and now I'm going to go ahead and add in the riverbed, maybe the riverbed light all throughout here. No, we'll do the riverbed wet dark all throughout here. So I'll start off here and I will just put on anarchy. All right, and before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and add in some of the water tool, the lakes. So I'm just gonna add in, make sure these don't flood the entire place. So we'll grab this height and then I'll just go down a couple meters, maybe like 508, and kind of fill up this area. And we'll do the same thing here. And then I'm gonna create a little bridge for this here over this stream. And this is pretty large actually, so I might shrink this as well. We'll see. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and do another series of streams and tributaries for this second little hill up here as well, since we're already doing it, just to kind of set myself up for success in the future so I don't have to do this every single time. So let's go ahead and continue on with the same kind of theory here. So let's see, we have 519, so we'll go down to about, let's do 515. Or no, let's do 512 for this hill here. We'll follow this hill the same way we did the other one there. And that's going to kind of take forever to kind of fill up there with water, but let's go ahead and add in some trees around the rails here. So right around these where I have the surfaces at, we'll kind of follow along with some trees. And I already have them kind of set out. I'll just stick to our usual set that we have here. So the London planes, lindens, hickory, spruce, birch, oak, and cultivated flower bush. Actually, I actually don't want the cultivated flower bush. So let's update that. So let's do something like that, and we'll just kind of follow this path here, and I'll kind of separate them and have some spacing variation amongst them. So actually, let me start off by clearing out all of these trees before we even get started. Nice. I really like adding in those curtains of trees along the streams. They really help frame the water visually and give it a nice natural overgrown look that you see in real life watersheds. Now I'm going to come in and line the banks with some rocks. That'll add in a bit more texture to the shoreline and help make sure this feels like a proper erosion shaped stream bed. Then I think I'll just finish off with a little bit of terrain work and just kind of smooth out the places where it's the most jank. All right, as you can see, I added in all of our trees here, went kind of crazy, but I also added in some rocks here, and I never really added in those, so I was trying to. I feel like I went a little overboard with this, so just let me know in the comments if I did, but I don't know. I'm not sure if I like it, but I think with all of that done, let's go ahead and move on to planning some of our Jeffersonian roads. All right, so for our Jeffersonian segment, I think we'll kind of use these reservoirs to kind of make this feel a little bit more dynamic because I don't want it to feel as grid-like as this one does at times. I kind of want it to feel a little bit more natural. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off our gridding system right here, maybe parallel to this reservoir here. And I'll try and make sure that I can get our full depth here, just in case I want to place any buildings there in the future. All right, and I think from there, we'll kind of figure out where our 72 unit marker is. And I think I'm going to go ahead and create a kind of draft of the road network that I want to have here. So we'll just kind of create those 72 by 72 grids. All right, we got that basic draft here. So I think what I want to do is I want to send this road here straight up. I think this is the one I want to continue up. And I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to bridge this over. So I'll go ahead and kind of flatten these out to be the same height. And now I'll turn on the elevated mode with the Anarchy mod and stretch this over the stream with our county highway. Cool. And we got that. And I've had Anarchy on this entire time. I'm gonna go ahead and purchase all these tiles that we're using. I mean, we have the money, even though we're burning through cash, we have the money. And I think after today's episode, we should be kind of fine. Oh my God, it looks like it's slightly askew. Oh man, I don't know if I can handle it being askew. I might have to reorient it, guys. Sorry. All right, and so what I did was I brought this that orientation up there, and I kind of curved it, so now it'll still look askew, but it'll be okay. I won't go crazy about it. Let's go ahead and clean up our Jeffersonian grid. And like I said, I want this road to kind of connect to the outside world. So I'm just gonna go ahead and connect that up simply. So I guess I'll kind of just follow this kind of path here. I guess we'll continue straight up until we get to the river, and then I guess we'll kind of follow that until we exit right about where this water is at. And actually I'll go ahead and make that connection from right about here. And we'll use our complex curve tool and we'll make our way all the way back over there. And I'll just go ahead and connect this up We'll just use Anarchy's little feature that lets us create a slope all the way down constantly. And we'll just simply upgrade that. And that should let us simply put that on the ground. And then I'll just kind of fix that terrain really quickly. And next I'm going to go ahead and extend this road and kind of follow the stream path and leave our full zoning depth along it. All right, and I think that's what I'll do for this, just for the time being. I think what we'll do is I wanted to go ahead and also add in a little connection over here as well, just so they can get from over here to this cargo terminal to over there easierly. So let's just go ahead and connect that all up. So we'll have a one ag grade crossing here. So I won't mind that much, since I don't really think people will use this connection, but I am prepared to be wrong. So now they'll be able to get on State Road 48 and just kind of connect on to this road and kind of bypass to our new agribusiness area. So yeah, I think that'll be nice. So now everyone can kind of bypass all of the city and kind of leave everyone alone down here, because I think that's kind of caused a lot of, I think that's what's been causing a lot of traffic problems, is you have to kind of drive through the city in order to get through any other use. So yeah, we're kind of alleviating that problem today. So I think with that basic grid layout done, let's go ahead and move on to adding in our water utility area. So for our water utility area, I want to kind of use this reservoir and kind of say that, the city is using that, these very finite water resources, and kind of tell that kind of story and see how that kind of develops. So we're going to kind of use the advanced water pumping station, as well as a couple more little buildings to kind of display that. So let's go ahead and unlock the water treatment or the water pumping station. Like I said, 8 points, that's a lot. Okay, so yeah, we'll go ahead, and I think we'll just kind of place this right where the game kind of suggested, right here at this little crest here. That's pretty cool, but let's go ahead and connect this up with the road, and I'll just use a ordinary alley for this, and we'll just go all the way. Actually, no, I'm gonna go about 6 units back here, so we'll do something like that. Or how cool would it be to just kind of have this road follow the reservoir here, and then we can have it kind of naturally go into this one, or curve into this one here. So we'll just get our, already had it on. We'll just curve that straight on in there. And that should be connected. Oh, actually, no, it's not, because this is not our fancy highway. So let's just go ahead and add on some streetlights simply to this one. All right, got that all connected up there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add in a couple of little water pumping stations along here, kind of act as like secondary pumps here around. And then we'll connect those up with just some simple gravel roads. And I'll just go ahead and extend this, and we'll just say that the water utility company has this entire little parcel for this area. And so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go in here and create a kind of barrier between the water and here. So we'll just use the pavement path to kind of follow here and kind of hold the water. So I'll try and make this one feel a little bit more uniform. All right, got that all placed. Now, I think I want to go ahead and add in, I think it's from the water treatment facility. I want to add in this extra processing unit. I think it just will kind of fit this pretty well. So we'll just place one of these bad boys, maybe just right here. Get an alley that kind of represents, or maybe we'll get in a one-way alley. All right, and now that we got those kind of placed in, I'm gonna go ahead and place in a couple more little factories to kind of act as, extra processing facilities or offices or whatnot throughout this area. I'm not sure what I want to do here yet. Maybe it'll come together as we're kind of doing everything here. But I'm gonna plop stuff in because I think it results in a better build. So I'm sorry if you guys don't, but I like plopping. So. All right, so I think for our parking in this area, we're gonna try and do something custom. So I think I saw on CPP's video, if we place these and then we have some of the invisible roads kind of leading up to them, they will still park there. So how about we try that out? So I'll grab this and I'll kind of lay that out. Or how about we just try and use our one-way parking road here. So I think instead of doing all of this here, even though I spent all the time doing this, I think I'm gonna delete this and we're gonna pause the game and we're gonna add the emergency battery station over here. So I think that would be a better use of this area. So let me go ahead and unlock that. And I went ahead and unlocked the geothermal plant because I know I'm going to use it in this episode as well. But we'll go ahead and place this. And it looks like I need a little bit more space. So let's delete this as well here. And then we'll just go ahead and add that kind of right here. Actually, I'll just go ahead and extend this row just so we make sure it's right in line. And then we'll just kind of curve that back to how we had it before. And the reason why I wanted to place this over here is because this area is already zoned for utility use, and I think it'll help reinforce our power grid during outages or peak demand. It's not the most glamorous building, but it'll play a key part in supporting all the new development we've already been adding in nearby. I'll go ahead and replace these industry buildings we deleted as well. All right, and I don't know what I'm gonna do with this strip of land right here. I think I'm gonna leave it just empty for now, and we'll see what we come up with. Put a couple of factories over here, as we can see. Um, I I don't know if this land is too big, but I think I'm just gonna roll with it. And we'll come back to this when we do the final landscaping and detailing. But what I want to do before I add in any of our farms as well as I want to add in a geothermal plant just to kind of suit this area's power needs and to kind of further utilize this groundwater deposit. So I've already unlocked it. So I think we're just going to kind of place this right here. Get this right in line where our power lines are. And then we'll just get a alley and we'll just kind of go straight to it. And maybe we'll just kind of cut straight through here and then we'll just kind of connect this up. All right, and as I was placing that geothermal station, I went to bed, I came back, I looked at a couple of mods, and I downloaded some of these, I think the parking decals from Dome. So we're gonna use some of those, and I also think that I'm going to replace this processing unit with a water treatment facility, maybe the Japanese one, because I think it will allow this side of the island, I guess, to be self-sufficient in their resources. Because now we have power, we have water, and so we might as well just go ahead and add in our sewage as well. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete this. And then we'll just go ahead and add in that Japanese building here, and I'll just put on anarchy because I know it's gonna kind of mess things up. And I think since we have all these buildings, I'm just gonna go ahead and urbanize this road here just for the time being. But we'll just go ahead and make sure the sidewalks are on, or maybe we can have some trees on this road actually. All right, and then we'll kind of repurpose this area to some kind of like office administrative area since I kind of added that little uh wastewater treatment facility, and I added some little lane markings to kind of say that this is just one cohesive building. But yeah, let's go ahead and add those in. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and lay out a road network. All right. Went ahead and went with these two buildings here from the U.S. Southwest pack. I think that kind of fits well here. I don't think we can recolor this brick that well, so we'll just kind of ignore it there in the back, but we can recolor this just a moment. But let's go ahead and add a couple more little warehouses right back here, or maybe some other industry to create some more jobs. And I think instead of trying to zone that in, or actually I'll try and zone them in and then we can try and work around it. How about we try and do that? We'll try that method. And I kind of did a little bit over here with some parking and some decals. And I did a little bit of extra parking here as well. And I think we'll come back to this area as well as this one to add in that same kind of detail of parking. But with all that done, let's go ahead and move on to placing some of our new agro businesses. Now that we got our utilities all kind of set up over there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over here, and we're just going to place in one of Tygon's rail assets, and that is going to be the agricultural freight yard. And we're just going to place that right here along the tracks. So let's see if I can find it here. And we'll just do the standard one, not the diesel. And we'll just kind of place it along this here. Cool. And then I'll just go ahead and kind of connect those in with some two-way train tracks and make that pretty simple, smooth here. All right, and I think we'll go ahead and connect that up. So I guess I'll kind of extend our Jeffersonian grid, maybe just up until right about here. I don't really like this. I think it's going to cause a lot of conflicts with this being right here, almost at the intersection. So what I think I'm going to do, I think I'm going to have this highway kind of curve this way and kind of meet up with this, maybe this road here. We got that all kind of connected there, and kind of had this road kind of end at this agricultural stop. So now we'll add in those extra warehouses, maybe be a secondary kind of storage area for all the businesses before they kind of ship out all their, or I guess all the farmers before they ship out all their stuff. So I'm just going to kind of plop those all in here, and I've already kind of typed in warehouse obviously, but we're just going to kind of do those right about in this little strip that I've kind of left myself. And we'll just try and make sure that these are only the agricultural ones. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to go to our taxes, and I'm just going to lower the taxes for grain, as we'll do convenience. Or no, we'll leave it for convenience. We'll only do the ones that they have to, that they harvest from the extractors. And that should kind of let the game kind of control what kind of thing we're storing there. So hopefully that kind of works out how I want to. So we'll just kind of place those warehouses now. All right, and let's go ahead and add a little bit of parking here. You know I love to add parking. And then let's go ahead and place some gravel parking lots behind these warehouses. Cool, and came up with that. Got a couple of these little, warehouses. Like put one little office building here. I always like to add these in as like kind of like a main building here for each little company that I place. So we got that here. So let's go ahead and place in some of our agribusiness, farming land. So I'm going to start off with this pretty large parcel here, and I think this is going to be a great location for our new thicket facilities. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here with our specialty buildings. And I'm just gonna go ahead and place in this, if I can find it. We'll just place in this convenience food factory. And we'll just get a road that kind of comes to that, and we'll just use a gravel road for this. All right, and since the Chungman produce family deals in vegetables, we're just gonna go ahead and place in our vegetable extractors. So I'm just gonna kind of find those, and those are gonna be in our zones. And we'll just kind of place these in here. And now that we have that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go I'm gonna go ahead and add in a couple more of little like these silos and stuff here. Kind of what we did over here. If we look in the Chugman produce area, we added these little greenhouses for the vegetables. I might not do that. I might stick to the same grain silos that we were doing beforehand for this one, but I'll place a couple of those greenhouses to kind of be to pay homage to what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, like it's even placed in here anyway. And then I'll go ahead and steal a little bit of this farm to add in another parking lot and expand Chugman Agrilogistics with a few more warehouses to support freight and distribution operations. All right, and I think we'll do our next farm here, right by this little track area. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and place the dairy farm or the dairy house in this time because this one is going to be it's going to be a grain farm. Or maybe actually no, we'll do another livestock. We'll do another livestock area. Maybe we can say this is the Ramley Ranch expansion. So maybe they're moving their location. So yeah, so I'll put this here. We got our gravel road, connect it all up here. Cool. And before I forget, I'm gonna go ahead and add in my surface to this vegetable farm, just so I know the difference. And we're gonna use this grass crop, I think, or no, yeah, this one right here. And we'll just put this right over top of this vegetable. And now that we have that surface over here placed, I'm going to go ahead and place our industrial storage buildings over here as well. So the silos that we usually place by our grain buildings, and maybe we'll use some of the larger ones because this is a more commercial sized farm. So I think these would be a lot larger. And I realized that I placed a grain farm rather than a livestock one, so I'm just gonna go ahead and replace that. I'll also add in the grass texture that we've been using around the city to kind of personalize it here. All right, you got that second one added in, and we'll add some trees later on here. But what I want to do is I want to add a couple of circular farms here, and these are pretty. If you look at like, any maps, like mainly near like Colorado in the valleys, these formed because they had to form like specific canals for irrigation, and so they found out that turning the water, I think, clockwise. Was easier for crop growth. So we're going to do something kind of similar here, pretty modern take on it, but it could be a way that we could, save on our water usage. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here. And I think for these, maybe since these are, special farms, we can use these as textile farms since we're doing special uses. And this will be our first ones in the entire city for this. So this is pretty exciting. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to place this here and we'll just do something like that. And what I'll do is I'll just come in here with let's just do an alley for now. We'll lock to the side of the road or the building, and we'll just use our complex curve tool and just go as far out as we can, get perfect circle here. And then we'll just do one more of those right here. Maybe a smaller one. I'm not really sure yet how big I want to do this secondary one. All right, and I guess I haven't really thought about what texture I want to use for this yet. I guess we have all these newer ones. Maybe we do the kind of reddish one. And I think I'm gonna do this straw flat. Quite frankly, I think that is more up my alley. Honestly, I like these more muted colors. All right, and now that we have those textile farms there, now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and add in all the farms for the rest of this area that we kind of zone in here today. So I'm just going to go ahead and place all of those, a couple of grain farms, vegetable farms, and livestock, as well as maybe one more of these, factory type buildings here. I want to add in a couple more jobs. As you can see, if we look at our info views, we are at about 8.3. And I think if I add one more of these, we might get to a good place, kind of slash that in half at least before next episode. And then, yeah. And then that'll kind of leave us off before we add in our little rest stop over here. And I've come to kind of realize how much I love placing farms, not just for the aesthetic of them, but kind of what they represent. Agriculture is an integral part of like human development, and it is the reason for many cities in their locations all across the world. And access to resources like fertile land and water availability also played a key part in a lot of cities' economic power. And towns just like Puerto Gato got a lot of their capital from large farming projects just like this one, leading to many job opportunities. So with all the agribusiness placed, let's go ahead and place a small rural town in a rest area. All right, and I think that's all the farms I kind of want to add. I think right here I'm going to add a little bit of housing, a little kind of a small rural area, a little bit of commercial here as well. Please ignore all the police symbols. That's because of the update. We'll fix that in the next episode. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and add that little bit of density right here. So let's just go ahead and we'll just try and zone in northeast low density business, and we'll just, and while that's kind of zoning in, I'm going to go ahead and maybe place some houses right here as well. So we'll get a pretty simple local road network. We'll use the alley for this. We'll just come right up here. Actually, we'll come as close to the farms as we can. About here, and we'll go up. Let's do about 7 units here. All right, and this is such an American stroad. Like, I can totally see myself driving down this. Got a little motel here, a little office, a couple little commercial buildings, and I made these all kind of have more car-centric focus. Not this one here. I'm gonna add some parking in just a moment for this one, but just because this is out in the middle of nowhere, essentially. I mean, there's only, there's not really that many connections, but I'm kind of just setting the groundworks for the future, and maybe this, this entire area develops into a city in the future. So I'm kind of just, setting up this little residential area, just in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, let's go ahead and zone in those houses that I want to use. And I think that for those, we're just gonna stick to, actually, all right, yeah, we're gonna stick to low density for this. And I think honestly, we're gonna use maybe the UK low density detached. So, or maybe we'll use the Southwest. I haven't really used these yet, so I don't really know what these look like, but we'll kind of experiment here. and I think that's the density I'm gonna do right there. Now I'm gonna move over here, and we're just gonna add our little rest stop. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna come up with a little bit of a frontage road. All right, and so yeah, right here, what we'll do is, if this thing is in the way, kind of. So I'm gonna delete that for a moment, and we're just going to expand this to a asymmetrical highway here. I guess it's like we kind of need one on each side, so I need to kind of rethink where I want to have this at, actually. Yeah, maybe we can do this right here, and I'll just use. I think I have a 6-lane highway somewhere, but I'll have to maybe use road builders to build that in just a moment. All right, and that's it's a little close. We'll do it here, maybe. I don't know. I feel like this is kind of cutting it close to kind of where I wanted to place this, and with these power lines here. I guess we'll try and make it work. If we need to move it, we'll readjust. But I'll try and do it here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here with our little county highway again, and we're just gonna get a road that kind of goes parallel to this. All right, and I'm gonna switch to a one way because I've realized we would only be entering from one way. And yeah, I think I'm actually going to delete these power lines and we'll just reconnect these up out of the way because I just can't deal. All right, and I think we'll just kind of pedestrianize this area. Just give the truckers a nice little rest area, so they can just, maybe even take in the water here as well. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and convert this into a perpendicular parking. All right, and then I think I'll go ahead and kind of create a parallel road and kind of have a little bit of parks in between here. Maybe we'll do something like 2 units of distance, and we'll just kind of follow this. Oof, and that kind of messed this up here. We'll just go ahead and redo that. And then added those little parking roads here. I have a little bit of a loop circulator going on, so maybe this will disincentivize people parking over here anyway. But yeah, I just figured we'd have more of it, so we can have a little bit more parks right here. But what I want to do is I want to go ahead and add in a little bit of a gas station right about here. We have all of our new leisure buildings from the new asset packs. But yeah, let's look at this one. This coffee on the go. Honestly, I don't know if this really suits this well, but I kind of just want to place it here anyway. So let's just place it just to see what it looks like. I think that is a little bit too much there. I think what we'll do is we'll just try and place just a gas station or something here instead. And maybe we'll just look for like a motel or something we can put right here. Maybe give the truckers something or somewhere to sleep just in case they need to on long nights. Yeah, we'll just do a couple more parks over here now that we have those two assets. And I decided to add in this little dog park or this newer one because a lot of truck drivers they keep their pets with them. So I wanted to kind of, say that that's what's happening here. But have that little motel and stuff here, and you can see a couple people are parking here. Obviously, not for what they're supposed to be parking here for, but I think that's great. So let's go ahead and move on to some landscaping and detailing. For our landscaping and detailing, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add in another one of these over here on the what is this? The southbound station, but this one's gonna be a little bit smaller than this one, just because I figured if you're traveling from this direction, I mean you could just go to the city if you really need to. So, or you can just exit the city. So, not really a need to have that big of a rest area on this side here. But I also want to add in a couple more textures, as well as a couple of ditches here to kind of, give more reason for the borders of these farms. Add in some trees and maybe a little bit more detail over here to this little small area. I really like this area a lot. This is kind of what I intended this area to be over here, as you can see, but it's okay. We kind of got it here, and I think we'll kind of see this area grow as we, advance in the storyline. But yeah, so let's go ahead and do all of that. All right, and we got our small town of Mulberry Way, and I'm pretty excited to see this little area kind of develop here. I really didn't plan on this, but I think this is probably my new favorite area in the city, and I have a lot of plans for this. We can see our little motel is failing, but I think that's great. If we look at our little district, we can see they're already complaining about some stuff. So high crime, we've got some unhealthy or unreliable healthcare and lack of entertainment. So we'll kind of fix those issues as we progress here in our storyline. But thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, and stay tuned. Got a lot planned. I'm really happy with all the new assets that come out, all the new creator packs. So I got a lot planned. Peace.